Beijing, a hot early summer night in 1999. In an old apartment building, 8 young women were sleeping soundly after a long day of work. They were all from far away from home, renting an apartment together to save money. None of them knew that, because of an open window, they were about to face the worst nightmare of their lives. Second floor of the apartment building, the balcony window was open. A dark shadow appeared in the window of the apartment next door. It was Zhao Lianying, a lonely man, his eyes filled with gloom. Zhao Lianying, the man who lived right next door. Lonely and poor, he always felt like the whole world had turned its back on him. He had been following these girls for months, knowing their every move. He knew that they often left their balcony windows unlocked at night. Inside the apartment, 8 girls were sleeping soundly. One of them turned slightly, but no one noticed the dark figure quietly entering. Suddenly, a loud scream rang out. The room lights turned on, blood splattered everywhere. The scene was chaotic, one by one people fell under the sharp blade. A girl panicked and rushed out of the room, ran down the stairs, but before she could escape, she was caught up with. She collapsed right next to the car in front of the building, her last breath gone. In just 20 minutes, 8 young girls were brutally murdered. The most terrible crime in Beijing that year happened because of a moment of carelessness, a window that was forgotten to close. The next morning, the apartment complex was locked down. The police were there, and the scene was filled with horror. A young officer entered the bloody room, his eyes tense. Forensic experts bent down to take blood samples from the floor. A strange bloodstain caught their attention. Analyzing fingerprints and investigating neighbors, the police quickly narrowed down the suspect. After a week of searching, they knocked on the door of the apartment next door, and Zhao Lianying appeared. In the interrogation room, Din sat with his head bowed, his hands clasped together. He sighed, his eyes lifeless. I have nothing in my hands. I hate this life. I just wanted to take the money, but then I couldn't control it. Beijing Court, June 15, 1999. Din stood in the dock, his face pale. The judge announced the verdict in a loud voice. Zhao Lianying was sentenced to death for intentional murder. On July 21, 1999, the sentence was carried out. A bloody chapter closed, but the horror still haunts forever.